In a deep cave on a winter night, under the arches of gloomy darkness, only the sound of the wind and ominous echoes are heard. It is here, among the rocks and peaks, that our story begins about the crazy fate of a climber named Jack. Jack is a man for whom the mountains have become an obsession that has made him addicted to adrenaline and the desire for irresistible adventure. From childhood, he dreamed of conquering the highest peaks, conquering those territories where only a few feet had set foot. His soul burned with a thirst for freedom and exploration, and his heart beat in the rhythm of adventure and danger. And then one day Jack heard about the mountain, about which the most terrible legends circulated. This mountain, with the frightening name Black Curse, seemed impregnable, played with stormy winds and woven from ancient riddles. They said that everyone who dares to climb its peaks disappears without a trace, swallowed up by the dark abyss that lurks in the very heart of the mountain. But it was precisely such stories that aroused in Jack an exorbitant interest and desire to do the impossible. He decided that he was ready to face this abyss and find out what really lurked in the depths of the Black Curse. More than ever, his heart burned with a thirst to conquer this pinnacle of darkness and shed light on a mystery that engulfed all who dared to explore it. And now the moment comes when Jack and his companions go to the beginning of their journey. The equipment is tested, the plan is thought out, and their hearts burn with the fire of passion and determination. From day one, Jack and his team began their daring ascent of the Black Curse. The mountain met them with mighty rocks covered in thick layers of snow and a pitiless cold that penetrated every chink in their equipment. The wind whistled in their ears, as if warning them of what was to come. The first days of the ascent passed relatively smoothly, although already here they felt unusual fluctuations. Walking on steep snowy slopes and overcoming huge rock walls required more and more physical and emotional strength. But Jack and his comrades did not give up. They continued to climb higher and higher, eating only small supplies and rare moments of rest. As time went on, the mountain became more and more hostile. Unpredictable avalanches and severe snowstorms threatened their safety, and dangerous cracks in the ice lay in wait at every turn. Fear and tension grew, but Jack and his companions continued to overcome difficulties, realizing that the top of the mountain, their goal, was worth the risk. However, with each passing meter, they increasingly felt the incomprehensible atmosphere enveloping the Black Curse. The air was saturated with a strange smell that could not be defined, like a mixture of decay and nothing that penetrated the very depths of their souls. The voices of the wind seemed to be whispering with non-human entities, suggesting something sinister and secret. After several weeks of hard climbing, Jack and his group reached a height where few people have trodden. Here, on this frozen peak, a certain mystery hovered, attractive and repulsive at the same time. Jack and his team are faced with unexplained phenomena on the mountain. They witnessed strange sounds, saw ghostly figures and felt the presence of something elusive. At night, the shadows disappeared, and in the light of day they intercepted the eyes of the team. These phenomena filled their hearts with horror and an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Gradually, group members began to notice changes in their behavior and appearance. They became irritable, prone to strange fits of anger. Their faces contorted as if they were turning into something abnormal and sinister. Dreams entered their minds, confusing them and preventing them from distinguishing between reality and nightmare. These signs of serious difficulties began to intensify with each step on the mountain. They felt that something invisible was watching them, waiting for the right moment to attack. The strength of the team weakened, and fear squeezed their hearts, leaving only a thread of hope for salvation. However, Jack and his comrades kept going forward, hoping to find answers and survive. They were resolute and not ready to retreat, despite all the terrible phenomena that met them on the way. But now they understood that this climb promised not only physical danger, but also something deeply mysterious and sinister that drew their souls to the darkest heart of the mountain. Suddenly, on one of the climbing sites, Jack finds himself separated from the rest of the team. He finds himself alone in the mountains, deprived of the support and protection of his comrades. The environment around him becomes more and more menacing, and the atmosphere is saturated with bottomless horror. Jack, immersed in an ominous silence and deep darkness, begins his desperate struggle for survival. He tries to find a way out, striving to remain determined and unflinching in his actions. But gradually he encounters something incomprehensible, his own demons. Fear and madness begin to take over Jack, penetrating into every cell of his being. Suddenly, on one of the climbing sites, Jack finds himself separated from the rest of the team. He finds himself alone in the mountains, deprived of the support and protection of his comrades. The environment around him becomes more and more menacing, and the atmosphere is saturated with bottomless horror. Jack, Immersed in an ominous silence and deep darkness, begins his desperate struggle for survival. He tries to find a way out, striving to remain determined and unflinching in his actions. But gradually he encounters something incomprehensible, his own demons. Fear and madness begin to take over Jack, penetrating into every cell of his being. He hears whispering voices in his head, sees hallucinations and ghosts of his past that haunt him. Reality and fiction become inseparable, and the line between them is blurred. The further Jack goes into the depths of the mountain, the more he becomes something other than human. His mind and body are affected by the darkness that dwells in these ominous expanses. He feels his soul plunge into the abyss of hopelessness and madness. But Jack doesn't give up. He continues to fight, even if only a spark of hope remains in his heart. He goes forward, overcoming his inner demons and breaking out of the embrace of evil, which draws him deeper into its webs. Finally, in one fateful moment, Jack reaches his climax. He finds himself in a deep dungeon or cave, where the source of all sinister phenomena takes shape and essence. There, before him, the secret of the Black Curse is revealed. Before Jack opens the abyss of nightmares, devouring the light and plunging him into absolute darkness. The voices of insane souls resound around him, penetrating his mind and turning his thoughts into a hodgepodge of fear and hopelessness. They whisper forbidden knowledge and reveal to him forgotten secrets that destroy his psyche. Jack struggles with the illusions that come to life before his eyes. The walls of the cave are overgrown with living flesh, covered with sharp teeth and covered with the eyes of the dying. Dark figures with deformed faces and bulging eyes pursue him, disappearing into the darkness, only to reappear at incredible speed right in front of him. The sounds of screams and groans fill the air, mingling with the smell of rotting flesh. Jack feels the cold touch of shadows on his skin, causing him to flinch and let out a scream of fear. He sees his dead comrades rising from their graves, their faces contorted with despair and anguish. Darkness surrounds Jack from all sides, forcing him to get entangled in a labyrinth of ominous passages. Streams of blood flow down the walls, forming eerie drawings that portend death. A viscous black liquid flows down his arm, the feeling of decay and evil does not recede for a moment. Jack grits his teeth and gathers his last bits of will not to get lost in this bottomless nightmare. He peers into the very depths of the abyss and sees how it devours life and hope. His hands are convulsively squeezing the ropes, and his heart is pounding in his chest, as if it wanted to break out. Finally, with a frantic cry, Jack breaks free of the abyss. A blinding light blinds his eyes. After defeating the dark forces, Jack feels that something is wrong. The air becomes heavy and filled with malice. He turns and sees the abyss he conquered reopen before him. The abyss begins to expand, growing in size and absorbing everything around with crushing force. The earth is cracking, and the sky is covered with black clouds. The terrible forces that Jack thought defeated turn out to be stronger than he thought. A bottomless abyss opens up under Jack's feet. He tries to stay on the edge, but the forces of evil are stronger. They bend his fingers and drag him down into the arms of endless darkness. Jack screams desperately, but his voice is lost in the abyss. He tries to grab onto something, but his fingers slide across the smooth surface. He understands that this is his end, that he will become a victim of this sinister entity, which he could not completely defeat. Darkness consumes Jack, and his screams disappear with him. All that remains is a dark void and evil that continues to spread, affecting all living things around.